All the models said I needed $2.5 million in order to retire. So my fear was that I was going to retire the same time I reached the grave. That's what my man Nick writes in here, and I tell you. So let's read this because it's critical. We're going to talk about this because this is nuts. But anyway, Nick says, Josh, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed the podcast and the newsletter. The piece below on the retirement crisis is priceless, and this is the my most recent post. I said how to create a retirement crisis, where I looked at the numbers that weren't being shared with you in order to show we have a retirement crisis. Anyway, so Vic says, look, I'm 57 and I'm going to retire when I'm 63. When I pulled up the retirement calculators, they all state that I should have $2.5 million or more at the time of departure from retirement. My fear was that I would be retiring when I entered the grave. But after listening to your podcast and using the Engage data site, Engage-data, I realized that retirement at my desired age is very possible, even likely, and that I'm right on track. Thanks for your insight and real-life examples, and keep up the good work. All right, so I appreciate that, Vic. So let's think about this for a second. I say this a lot, but I hear this a lot. I'm just going to use. I like the 5%. I say 5% as a distribution rate. All right, so let's just use this in real numbers here. How much are you living off now? I mean, you got to think about how much are you living off now. All right, again, the median household income is $60,000. That's the median household income, not the median employee income, the median household income. Now, I get it. The median household income includes those who are already on retirement and Social Security and whatnot. So you would probably want to look at the median employee income, and I don't know what that is. It's probably higher than $60,000, but certainly not $120,000. And I don't know what it is. We'll even say it's $75,000. I literally have no idea. But if we take the median household income as $60,000, all right, even if we say the median worker's income is $75,000, how much are you living on? Well, inherently, you can't be living on more than $75,000. I mean, you could for a couple of years, but at some point, you have to pay the debts. Yeah, you can't do that forever. So inherently, if you're making $75,000 a year, thanks, buddy. Oops. If you're making $75,000 a year, you know for a fact you're paying I don't have my calculator. You're paying, I don't know where it is. You're paying 7.65 to FICA. You're saving some amount to your 401k. You're paying federal tax and you're paying state tax. I mean, inherently, you're not taking home $75,000 or $60,000 or $100,000. You're just not. And so if you have $60,000 and you average that over the course of your life, you'll make about $2,500 in Social Security. All right, so that's $30,000 a year. So $60,000 gross, we'll just say it equates to $50,000 net, just for simplicity. Just on you alone, you're going to make $30,000 a year for Social Security at your full retirement age. So you need $20,000 to keep up to where you were while you're still working. And is there any reason you need to have that same level of income? I mean, I don't know. Well, but even if you did, if you had $400,000 at 5%, you're fine without even blinking an eye. $400,000 at 5% a year, if you even needed that, would give you the $20,000 to make up to where you were pre-work. While you're working, I mean. It doesn't make any sense that these people say you can never retire. We need $2.5 million. I don't get where that comes from. But Josh, you're going to have health care. Well, you already have health care. You have it right now. You got health care concerns. I mean, that's what I don't get to. You have health care concerns right now while you're working. Those don't go away. I don't get why they only concern you when you're later on in your life. You still have the same fear of a nursing home, which is why I have long-term care. The whole thing is nuts. I don't understand. The fear of long-term care doesn't just appear out of nowhere once you're 65. You still have the same concerns that you always did. So isn't that part of the question now? It doesn't make any sense. You're going to spend less. We know this just from BLS numbers. Now, again, there's every reason to think not everyone's going to spend less, but the most people do in terms of real live numbers that we see as opposed to computer models. It's nuts. On top of that, well, and going back to healthcare and long-term care, okay, let's just say we're assuming that, but where's the evidence to say that will be you? There is none. There's no evidence at all to say that will be you specifically. And the reason I say it is because there's no evidence that the vast majority of people spend all that money in long-term care or healthcare needs once they retire. There isn't any. So I attribute $5,000 a year for healthcare expense. That's Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, supplemental policies, eyes, ears, and a little bit of copays. I say $5,000 a year. mean, so all right, what else could it possibly be? When you're 82 years old, you can still be going down to Atlanta, going to Hal's, friggin' get steaks. I don't think so. So anyway, it bothers me. But hey, as long as people keep the retirement crisis thought out there, there'll always be someone like me who has an opportunity to say the other side. So appreciate it, Vic. I'm glad you're going to retire in a few years. Good luck to you, brother.